Hi, I am Emily.
And I am Denise.
And this is the Interdisciplinary Talks.
Today we're going to interview Mrs. Bárbara.
Hi.
Hello.
Miss Bárbara is a dancer from São Paulo. We're very glad that you're here today with us.
I'm very happy to be here too. Thank you.
Thank you, Bárbara. Joining us today too, we have our students, Moisés and Jorge.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Okay, let's begin. Jorge, it's your turn to ask Bárbara a question.
Did you learn English?
I started learning when I was, I think, 7 years or something. There was a friend of my mother who was an English teacher. So I started studying with her. She would come to my house and the group was me and two of my friends. And then after that, I started learning English in the school. And since I think second grade, I kept studying at my schools. So it was like that.
Bárbara, Moisés also wants to ask you a question. Please, Moisés.
Hi, Bárbara. So I would like to ask you, what did you come to know during your career through the English language?
I think it was so important for my studies because so many books are translated in English, not only the books that are written in English, but books from all parts of the world are normally translated in English. So studying dance and studying arts, I also like philosophy, poetry, other things that I like to read. So English was very important for that. And watching videos, interviews of the artists that I like, where I learned so much. And after the university, I studied in New York for a while. I spent 1 year there studying, so it was very important so that I could join this course, which was in English. And I work also with Indian classical dance, and I sometimes go to India and I stay there for a while. And then it's very important because I can really not speak the Indian languages, and it's the only way that I can communicate. And when I'm there, I study music and yoga and dance, and all this I've been studying in English. So it was very important.
How long were you in New York? First, it was your first experience abroad, New York?
Yes, I stayed actually 10 months, not a full year. And I was studying modern dance over there. Yes.
So you are a dancer and an academic of dance?
I graduated in dance at Unicamp in Campinas, here in Brazil. And then I kept studying. I'm a dancer and a dance teacher. I research and create and also perform this traditional dance from India, which is Bharatanatyam.
Can you just talk a little bit more about your experience in India?
Sure.
Because you said you spoke English there, right? Many of our students don't know, but in India, English is one of the official languages, right? So when you go there, you meet many people speaking English. Can you communicate with people in India through English?
Yes, because in India, in each state, they speak different languages. So between the states, they use English to communicate because their languages are very different. It's not that everybody in the street will speak English, but certainly someone will. If you need help, if you're lost, someone will speak at least the basic so that they can like help you to find your way. and some artists, like my dance teachers, who receive foreigner students, they speak English well. And in the yoga school that I studied, they also the course was in English. So in the centers of formation and study, normally there is like one course that is only for Indians, which is in the local language, and also the courses for foreigners, which are in English. It was very different being there, because I cannot understand anything in Tamil, which is the language spoken in Chennai, where I go. So it's a weird experience, different from other countries that I visit, where I can kind of understand. But when you go to a place like that, you really have only the English language or gestures. So it's very important. And sometimes we connect English only to like United States and England, but actually like there's so many countries that you can communicate with people only if you speak English, or find your ways there if you speak English.
Bárbara, I can ask you a question, please. It is about the cultural experience that you have making a relationship with New York and India. How about the difference of cultural experience that you had in the two places? Can you explain to me, please?
Sure. Well, I think Indian people, they look more like us Brazilian, because it's also a third world country, and it's also very hot. The weather is very hot, and they use like colorful clothes and their tropical fruits. So, and they have a very good sense of humor, even when I couldn't understand their jokes. You see them laughing. They are very warm in their own way. Of course, they don't hug and kiss like we do here in Brazil, but they are very warm. And in New York, it was more like a cold experience. Many people say that New York is not United States. It's such a cosmopolitan city. So I don't know about the rest of the United States, but over there it was the relationships were very cold, very professional. And people, even when I was in dance class, sometimes you are there waiting for your turn to do some exercise, and you touch someone like very softly, and they were like, oh, sorry. And for me, this was very weird, because we dance, so for me it's normal to touch people. And over there, they are more like that, a little more closed. But even in New York, I was studying also in an Indian arts school that I found there, and I was also working there, changing for classes. So I was also with an Indian community, and my English has a little bit of Indian accent because of that, and because of the times in India too.
I thought it was very interesting what you said, that you felt connected to the Indian people through like the colors, the weather, how you felt like they were warmer like Brazilians. And it's interesting how you got to connect to people that you felt were close to us through the English language, right? So you met these people and you could communicate with them through English, and they are in Asia, very far away from what people think is like the country that speaks English, which is United States or England, very far away, but you connected with them through English, and English is one of the official languages, right? So it's very interesting.
Yes, I must say I'm very grateful to my mother, because many times I wanted to stop studying English when I was younger, when it was not mandatory. Some years in the school, they were not mandatory. And she never let me stop, because my mother worked as a journalist, and she doesn't speak English very much. And she lost many trip opportunities to different places in the world for work, because she couldn't speak English. So because of that, she made me study. She say, like, you will not regret, you will thank me one day. And it's true. My English is not perfect, as you see. I commit some mistakes, but you know, I can communicate, I can read, I can study with teachers. So it's really important, yes.
Very nice that you talked about your mother that was a journalist. So our students, whoever wants to be a journalist too, we've been talking to professionals from different areas of knowledge. But see, there's an example of someone who was a journalist and lost opportunities because didn't speak English. And now we have a dancer, and who would think? And she really takes advantage of her English proficiency, right? Okay, so now Diego, who wasn't here in the beginning, can you say hi, Diego?
Hi, Bárbara.
He wants to jump in and ask you a question too.
Bárbara, how is English spoken in India different from the English you learned in Brazil?
Hello. So I think the English I studied here had a little more intense American accent, and in India they will speak more like our Portuguese from Brazil, which is more like articulated, like hello, here my name is Bárbara and I am going to. It's more like stop, stop, stop. You know, more punctuated. So this is different, and I feel very good. I like to speak like that because I normally speak to them, but also it feels like closer somehow. And so I think the main thing is the accent, and also, of course, like we do when they're speaking, sometimes they suddenly change and start speaking Indian language when we are in class. So I'm just looking and waiting and not understanding anything. Then they realize and they come back. So that was also something different because in Brazil, in English class, we were trying to keep speaking English, and in New York, I didn't have that problem. But when someone from India is speaking, sometimes this happens. Sometimes they change back.
Bárbara, I have a comment to do. Yes, I have 2 teachers in graduation, and it is like that. Suddenly they change to Indian language, and I just like that. Please don't do that with us. We can't understand, please. And it is like that. The way that they talk with us, it's like, hello, I am someone. It's pause, and it is so good to learn, I think, in my way of perception. Because when I was in graduation, I couldn't understand everything they said to me, and it is literature, and I didn't like so much. But with them, I can understand. They bring a cultural experience that oh wow, you know, it's so good. Thank you.
It's called, in linguistics, we call code switching, when you're speaking one language and then you suddenly switch to another language. And for them, this is very common because they are bilinguals, like they are raised bilinguals. It's different from us. We go to a Brazilian classroom where we're studying English in that period, like 1 hour with the teacher tells you, don't speak Portuguese, speak only English. For them, they are raised like that. So they were born in a culture where there are many languages and English is official. So they speak English, but they also speak their languages. And for you, Bárbara, and for Denise, who had the experiences with the Indian professors, it is an opportunity to those other languages too, right? So it's interesting too. So that's one thing that we want to highlight for our students, that remember that sometimes you get insecure, you don't want to speak Portuguese because you think you don't speak the perfect, not Portuguese, English, because you think you don't speak the perfect English, you don't have the perfect accent, but it doesn't exist. Okay, students, so and it's interesting too. So our students, many times they don't want to speak English because they think like, oh, I don't have the perfect pronunciation, I don't have the perfect accent, but it doesn't exist. You speak English with your accent, the sounds that you're used to in your language, in Portuguese. So in linguistics, we know that when you are born in a country, you're most likely to speak like those other people in that country. But we learn English like later in life, and it's okay. We can learn many languages. It's just one thing also, I used to, you said that you prefer to speak English like the Indian variety. That happens with me with French, because I studied French. Like when I was studying, it was the French variety from France. But then I met all these African friends, and for me, like the Congolese French is the best, and I feel like I can pronounce the words better, like the way they do, and I feel more comfortable, more secure when I'm speaking French from Congo. So it's the same. So French is not only from France, people. So the place where, like the continent where French is the most spoken in the world is in Africa. It's important to know also, right? So Bárbara.
Yes, that's it. I completely agree. And I also think listening to different languages slowly opens our perceptions too. And even in India, of course, I cannot understand really, but after some time, I can like guess the subjects kind of. I don't know how this happened because I couldn't memorize any words, but slowly this starts happening. So it's always a good experience. Sometimes I watch, there are like some German dancers that I love, and some videos are not translated. So sometimes I just put to hear them speaking in German. I don't speak German, but you know, just the way they speak and their gestures, like it's also precious. So listening to English like that and listening to another language like that does something to your brain. So you can trust also this process, you know, of course, studying, understanding, having teachers and tests and everything, but also like the process of listening. It's very precious, and we can just listen without wanting anything.
See, students, that's what, when I'm in the classroom with them, I'm not talking about Diego, Moisés, and Georgia, I'm talking about in general. And then when I start speaking English, they go, stop, I cannot understand. And I say, just get familiar, just listen. And that's exactly what she's saying. She's listening to different languages. Just from listening, she starts understanding. So give an opportunity to English, right?
Yes. I just wanted to say that for the students here, also that this thing of English opening up doors, sometimes if you think of something that you really like, I don't know what you like, for example, if you like surf, if you like, I don't know, reggae, something like that, and you can look for things that bring for you new knowledge about these subjects that you already like. And there's like doors open when you start looking for material in English, because there's so much stuff, and that's a good way to get like interested and wanting to understand better, because it's a subject that you are involved with. So that's a good way of studying. Go for it.
So very good tip, Bárbara. Thank you very much. We're very happy to have you here. And I'm sure that all the students really benefited from this interview, right, Martina? Because all you brought, all this information is very precious. Thank you very much. If we could, we would talk even more, right, Denise? But we cannot.
Yes. And one more time, we know now, we see our how language is important in our lives. English language open doors, and we have to know that and use that. Okay, thank you, Bárbara.
Thank you all. It was very good to speak with you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, Bárbara.
Bye,
Thank you.
Bárbara. Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.